Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for the intro, Kai. We go back a long way, and the difference between failure and success with Lifewave is really taking action and just sticking with it, right? So,
Yeah.
I think that's one thing we can claim is that not quitting. The times of it has not always been a smooth ride. But we've stuck with it because we believed in this technology and the integrity of David Schmidt and and the future. It took a while to get here, but it is explosive now for sure. I remember back in 2004 in November, I drove across the border from Toronto to attend my first meeting in Buffalo, New York. A friend of mine, he drove 8 hours from Chicago to meet me there. We're excited about this novel, this new patch, where it was non-transdermal, nothing entered the body. We didn't really understand it, but it was creating a lot of excitement out there. And everyone attending this meeting, this was I think it was November 13 in Buffalo, 2004. Everyone attending that was pretty serious because we had people, driving as far as North Carolina to Buffalo, to meet David Schmidt. And this is our launch meeting, and to learn more about the business opportunity in the patch. And this was the single patch we had, the energy enhancer patch. So we were, this was exciting. It was a pivotal launch, and David Schmidt really opened everyone's eyes to the potential of this technology. At that meeting. And the discussion was really incredible because, David Schmidt, told the crowd that anything was possible and asked the audience, what they would like to see in the next batch. People were shouting out all their creative suggestions. Some of those ideas kind of made it into, Lifewave, the patches today. For me, it was really hard to believe, but I had faith, and the way David explained it, it really opened up everyone's eyes, and that really rolled out. It was the beginning of an incredible year, with Lifewave back, 2004, 2005. I had already experienced the patch myself, and I actually already almost missed the opportunity entirely, because my friend mailed me a sample and I threw it in the garbage. Luckily for me, he followed up and got me to commit to trying a second sample, including one for my wife. And after that, and after my wife's experience and my experience, we joined the next day. It was that impactful. So, with the help of the publicity that stirred up, by David Beckham ripping off his jersey at the end of a game, and Coach Richard Quick, and all the controversy actually that was stirred up with the U.S. Women's Olympic swim team and dozens of athletes endorsing the patch, our business exploded out of the gate, with $17 million in sales, just incredible. After that amazing year, we had put ourselves on the map, and soon came the scoffers and doubters, and websites, calling Lifewave a scam. David, Schmidt at that time really could have called it quits. But, luckily for us, he fought against, all the naysayers out there, and, filed a patent application. And the beginning of that journey of proving the technology with over 80 clinical studies and research papers. And those early years were really challenging. 3 software challenges, or changes, a massive Russian criminal crime ring causing millions of dollars in losses, with the patches being shipped, credit cards charged, and that Lifewave had to refund. And also Lifewave shipped all the product out that they never got returned. So the losses were incredible. And Lifewave, on top of that, paid commissions on all those sales and never clawed those commissions back. The bottom line is David, because of his integrity and really belief in what we had going in network marketing and in his technology, He made the decision to pay all the commissions to the field out of his pocket, and even laid off our current president to get the company through that crisis. We've been really blazing the trail for the future, but more people quit Lifewave than stayed with Lifewave over the years. And those that stuck with Lifewave, like Kai, are being rewarded today. So, in 2013, almost 10 years after that patent was applied for, it was approved, and 10 years to get a patent approved. I think it was longer than that, and because this technology was so novel, and it took that long, for the patent office to really understand, what it was all about. So there's dozens of clinical studies completed, and we were really staying in business because of the demand of the product. It was we had a lot of products, a lot of results that people were getting, but it was very complicated, the business then, because we had a dozen great products that would just confuse people to death. Because right out of the gate, you don't want to, when we were presenting Lifewave, we were presenting a dozen products, and that's really not the way to create momentum. We created momentum out of the gate from the day one with one product, and it really wasn't until we got back to that single product focus with X39 that the company really exploded. In 2018, David Schmidt, sent myself and several other leaders samples of this breakthrough patch, X39, and it was. We really didn't know what it did. We didn't know it activated stem cells. We didn't know it elevated GHK copper peptide, any of those things. But David Schmidt said, want to send you something, let us know how you feel. Well, that this morning this was July, I believe it was 2018. My wife had been bedridden back since 2017, swollen joints and incredible, excruciating pain, and all night, all morning, especially. Her joints were swollen. She couldn't even hold a glass of water without just palming it in her hands. She had inflammation in her eyes that was just excruciating. A lot of health issues because of this autoimmune disease that she was suffering from, and really began increasing back in 2017. Well, and this morning of July 14, 2018, I put a patch on my wife's hand, and within 5 minutes, we did a couple of muscle tests, and within 5 minutes, she had tears of joy flowing down her face. And I knew at that time, there was something happening. And she, for the first time, probably it seemed like in months, she broke a smile. We could not get a smile at her. She was in so much pain ever, and within 7 days after that, my daughter and I, we heard this banging in the kitchen. We were thinking, what in the world is that? And here's my wife, previously bedridden. She was in the kitchen hammering a chicken with a tenderizing hammer. And, she couldn't even pick up a fork before that, or turn a door handle. Spent her time on the sofa. I did all the cooking, cleaning, you name it, shopping, and driving, because she couldn't drive anymore. Within 25 days of her wearing that patch every night, she put on every night. Within 25 days, she was fully recovered from this debilitating disease that she was experiencing. And she got off the drugs. The dog gave her the doctor gave her drugs for pain. They never worked. My daughter, Nikki, she's 32. She couldn't even hug her mother. Really, because of that experience, I made it a mission to share X39 with the world. And my daughter, Nikki, she wasn't able to hug her mother. She made it, also made the decision to build Lifewave X39, even though she'd been enjoying using, the energy enhancer patches and all the rest of the patches ever since 2004, when she was 14. She made that decision to join the business and build it full on, and because of X39 and what that had done for her mother, especially. Within a few months, Nikki, started to get compliments of her, the way she looked. And she's had a lot of testimonials, but she began to look about 10 years younger than her age. And just recently, my son Matt, who's 28 now, he's decided to join Lifewave and build a business, with Nikki. And that's why we're actually, I'm here in Thailand with Nikki, beginning to build a business here in Thailand. I had a call from somebody that I had been building a relationship on Facebook with for the last 2 years. He tried to pitch me in other opportunities and told me he was starting his own network marketing company, all these things. And I just stayed steadfast, and I said, no, I'm sticking with Lifewave. And I kept, just sharing that with them a little bit more, testimonials, et cetera, things that were happening. Eventually, he stopped trying to recruit me and join the business. But, him being in Thailand and me being in the Bahamas, it was basically his belief was there, but not the experience. So, he begged me to come to Thailand, recently, and this was maybe 10 days ago. So we didn't even have plans to come here. And I told Nikki, I said, I think we're going to go to Thailand. And so, here we are. Really continuing this business of sharing Lifewave X39 with the world. When you look at really what X39 has done, 2018 sales were, 26 million, last year close to 300 million, and 75 to 80% of Lifewave sales total are X39. So I think that's a sign that X39 is really a global blockbuster that's not only, helping people heal and regenerate around the world, and people are experiencing these testimonials, these life-changing experiences, but also financially, we get people around the world, it's changing their lives. So it's really all about making this your mission. What's your mission? Are you treating Lifewave like a hobby, or is this a mission that you truly believe in, and sharing Lifewave with the world? Are you qualifying people? Why would you qualify people and disqualify people from benefiting from Lifewave's, not only the X39 and this technology, but also this opportunity as well? And so this is really important, I think, to really take Lifewave seriously. Are you taking Lifewave for granted? After there's 14 years into this, to release this holy grail of regeneration, this business that we're experiencing right now that's exploding in growth. How serious are you really in offering this X39 solution to help others, everyone you meet? You need to keep feeding your belief if you have any hesitation. And, one way you can do that is, to feed your belief every day. And I do this every morning. And what this is I go to Google. Actually, I go to YouTube, sorry. And in YouTube, I just punch Lifewave X39. I type Lifewave X39 and click search. And then when the results click up, I click on filter, and then I just click on filter today. And it's amazing. I did that yesterday, and there was dozens of testimonials that had been posted just yesterday alone. And that's just what I see. I'm sure there's many more around the world. So when you've got something like this, I think this is I've never seen any product in network marketing that, or really any product anywhere, really that had this kind of, uh, uh, where people were experiencing so many benefits, and from the business to the product, that there's videos, dozens and dozens of videos being posted every single day. And it's incredible. Every day, there's life-changing testimonials that you can view. And if you need to feed that belief, that's probably the best thing you can do. Because it took me really time to, really believe that this patch was doing something, even though I experienced it myself. So I think that's something that, the more you share, the more you build that belief, the more experiences that other people that are close to you, the more they experience, the more that's going to reinforce your belief, and really make you unstoppable, and where you want to share this, every day. You need to have that, sense of urgency and confidence in what we do. And really, that's why I'm here with my friend in Thailand, because, he needs to build that confidence. And so I really, it took me really committing to coming here, not just sharing this locally. This is flying 28 hours from the Bahamas, to Thailand, with my daughter, to to share this with my friend and help him to build his business. And he had not sponsored one person yet. In 2 months, he had not sponsored one person. Okay, just, sometimes it takes that extra belief. He needs to experience, people need to experience it. So, when you bring people on board, you don't need to fly 28 hours, but you need to stick with these people, follow up with them, and meet with them, and patch and work with their people, to share this with their people. Sometimes it takes some time, to really build up that belief. So I think that's really, that's probably the most important thing. So, how serious are you? Are you serious enough to expose Lifewave X39 to 3 people a day, online from the comfort of your home, or get out and meet people locally, not flying 28 hours, just making that small commitment to meet people locally. I think, that's really the key, and not quitting. We've got a meeting coming up here in Costa Rica. There's top leaders across the country are presenting at Lifewave in August 19th in Costa Mesa. Are you going to be there? Is that too far for you? Is it too much trouble to contact others to show up? If you're serious, it won't be. Make sure you book your flights and tickets to Orlando. And also, and that's going to be October 12th and 14th, Lifewave's global convention. We got people flying there from all over the world. We got like 200 people flying there from Japan. So if we can't fly there from across, the US, there's something wrong. This is going to be the best convention ever with Lifewave. There's technology. Well, I thought X39 was great. We've got new technologies being added and these all complement X39. So X39 is still the lead product, but there's a new technology that's being rolled out. You don't want to miss. You want to be there in Orlando. This is the greatest. Lifewave is truly the greatest opportunity in the world today, I believe. Not just the greatest income opportunity, but also really the greatest opportunity to share healing as well. And not qualify people, who's not worthy of healing, at the very least, right? Maybe they don't need money, but I wouldn't disqualify them for anything at all. And least of all, from getting healing and regeneration with this patch. I just had a friend of mine call me just about an hour ago, and she had joined Lifewave back maybe six months ago. And she called me this morning and said, I just had to call you and tell you that my cardiology just told me that she called this a bundle branch block. Now, I've never heard of this before, but her cardiologist just told her that a bundle branch block that she had for 5 years that was really endangering her health, and this disappeared. And she was so excited because the only change that she has made in her life is wearing X39. So this is something we need to get excited, get serious, and commit and take action. And if you're committed, people will follow you. They're gonna feel that energy. So have fun, share Lifewave. Taking daily action and not giving up is the key to success by default. Has nothing to do with necessarily with your skills. I was never that skilled at sales or recruiting. It's just not giving up, and you'll be successful by default if you've got the right product. And you're definitely in the right place at the right time with the right product with Lifewave. So now share this perfect timing with others and patch and roll. Back to you, Kai.
Well, thank you, David. That was awesome. That was so beautiful. And you really glow these days. It's so beautiful. I have one little tweak. You said the word serious a lot of times. If you're serious. I
Right.
just want to invite people to consider the word sincere. You don't have to be serious. You can just be sincere. It doesn't have. This can be fun. It can be really fun. You don't have to get serious about it, but you have to be sincere.
Right.
But you can be serious
fun.
too. And the more fun you have, the more people are going to want to come around you. And
Right.
the more sincere, the more you care. But
Right.
what a wonderful story, and telling the whole history. That's so beautiful. I love hearing that you didn't even open the package. You almost missed the whole thing. And
Right.
then that shows about perseverance, about your sponsor sent it to you again, and he wasn't upset. And one of my greatest teachers, the one thing I'm going to share in my teaching, and it's going to be very short, is it doesn't take thousands and thousands. I mean, David's probably got 500,000 people in his network. It's some crazy number, maybe not all of them active, but have come through. It only takes 1 or 2 Davids. It only takes a couple people, one on your right, one on your left, to really make you really, really successful with this business. And you don't even have to be the person that brings them in, because that's
Exactly.
the power of our pay plan. So be sincere, be consistent, stay in the game, and those 1 or 2 good people will appear in your network. They will eventually evolve if you stay steady and keep on inviting people, following up with everybody, and working with the willing. That's all it is. It's so simple. Thank you so much, David, for sharing. And we're going to let you go. You don't have to stay around for the whole call. But Pete, did you have anything you wanted to say to David? I'm going to turn it back to you now.
Absolutely, I do. Thank you, Kai, and thank you, David, for accepting my request for you to come on our Success Team Zoom call, which only happens once a month, the first Tuesday of the month. And here we are, Tuesday, August 1. And loved your story, David. And I just want to back up a little bit and share a little bit about the videos that I listened to from you and your story with your wife. I was already familiar with that story from YouTube, because I did the same thing. I would go and see what's new, what the testimonies were, what people were saying. And I came across you because you were already in the Lifewave booklet that we got in our product package back then. And you were one of the top people in Lifewave. And I saw Kai's picture in there. I saw your picture in there. And well, these are the kind of people I wanted to rub shoulders with and get to know how they did it. When Karl Krebs and myself went to convention in Tampa, I think it was, in 2021, we had a wonderful chat with you, David, and you were very inspirational. I mean, many people inspire me, and Robin and Gregory and Kai and so many others, but you were really influential because to me, you were so real. I mean, it was just not a fancy, high-pitched talk. It was just you sharing your story and your passion for patches. And I said to Karl, that's got a lot of credibility there. And Karl, you can unmute yourself as well and pop in here. I cut out in the beginning, so I'm not exactly sure what happened to my internet. I wasn't able to formally introduce you, but Karl, if you're there, unmute and jump in and just share a few words here, if you would, Karl.
Thank you, Pete. It was an inspiring moment to meet you, David, and I know we've had some brief communications on Facebook. And you are one of those 2 people that that our former prime minister said there are only two people in the world, those that have to live somewhere and those that can live anywhere. And I admire your humility in what you've done. I want to ask you one question before you leave. The most often asked question is, or statement is, I want to try it before I say anything about it. How do you respond to that, people? Because we have so many testimonies out there. And after 19 years, you're still coming back to your testimony about your beautiful wife. And I want to hear from you. How do you respond to that? Because I certainly have encouraged people to have others join them in the journey to better health now, because my testimony manifested itself months and months later. And I think of all the people that have been helped already. Could you just speak to that for just a moment, David?
Well, I think it's probably a different response for each person, because a lot of people are coming to this for different reasons. But I'll usually just share, some stories because, first of all, do you feel yourself aging? I don't think anyone does. And really, it's a gradual thing. So, you can't expect, I'm 62. I feel like I'm in my 20s though, now. But, I didn't really, I didn't feel myself aging. But I would say that when I'm getting kind of, my thoughts are getting a little bit mixed up here, but I'm thinking that I normally share the stories of other people that have been experiencing benefits with Lifewave. And often what happens, I would say that I have plenty of stories where people were telling me that it wasn't working, that they weren't feeling anything. And often, if you encourage them to continue to wear the patch, what would happen is, 2 or 3 months later, they would, go to the doctor and they'd find that, maybe, a number of tests have come back, positively, or, they've noticed some pain has, disappeared just out of the blue after wearing the patches, maybe for weeks or months. For myself, I often share my story. I'll share my wife's story, and that actually, I think it's important to manage expectations. So if I share my wife's story, people, often will expect immediate results. If I don't counter that with also some stories of other people, and I'll usually counter this in advance before anyone asks me that question. I think it's important to counter these objections in advance, because that way you're coming to this from not from a defensive posture. You want to tell people up front, this can happen. This is what happened to me, or, my wife or whatever. But also, for myself, I'll share that, I didn't feel, back in 2010, I had cracked my kneecap right up the middle. And it was painful to run or, use a treadmill or anything for 8 years. And, I was expecting to feel something after the experience my wife got, but it wasn't until, after my third week, I was still in pain, but it wasn't until my fourth week, something happened, that pain disappeared and it's never come back. So, I'll share that. And also, someone else I know, he was actually in the business, and he had a downline, and he was making money, yet he kept complaining to me that he wasn't making any money. Or sorry, he kept complaining to me, he was making money, he kept complaining to me that he wasn't noticing any difference with the X39. So after 3 months, he's just complaining constantly. And then in the fourth month, he goes for a checkup at the doctor and comes back that this serious medical issue he had was gone. Not to mention, he had lost 30 pounds over this 4 months, 3.5 months or so before going to the doctor. And that was actually a sign of his health improving. But it wasn't until he got these tests back from his doctor that this major illness he had was he no longer had, after he was complaining for 3 or 4 months that that it wasn't working. So I think it's important just to share people stories of results that are happening quickly, but also often can take time. And Lifewave, the X39 is really, it is not what heals you. X39 just elevates the GHK copper peptide. And if you have any question about what the GHK copper peptide can do for you, it's easy to Google GHK-CU clinical studies, and you could spend probably days or weeks reading studies about that one product. So, as that GHK copper peptide is being elevated in your body, you never felt it lowering down over time. Back when you were 20, you had a full amount of this in your bloodstream, but by the time you're 60 years of age, it drops by 60%. So you only have 40% left of what you would normally have as a 20-year-old. Well, you never felt that, right? So you're not necessarily going to feel that GHK copper peptide elevating. You're going to feel the effects of that elevating, and often, there's things happening in your body that you don't notice. Your body is going to heal. It's going to be healing, things that maybe you have no idea of that are critical to your survival. Who knows? It could be working on your liver, or you could have stem cells, going to your liver, or maybe pancreas. Who knows, right? Maybe you're worried about your sore knee, but you're not getting relief from that, but maybe your body is working on healing something else that's more important. And then and what I find is that just now, the longer people wear the patches, the more all of these little issues start to get knocked off, and it's not always in the order that we want. Back to you.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate you again taking the time out. And again, as I was mentioning earlier, I felt your passion for the product very early when I met you, and already experienced that from your YouTube videos that you put out. I shared them with a lot of people, and I know they helped me bring a lot of people into Lifewave. So thank you for that, David. I really
thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for asking.
Orlando as well, and I fully expect another meeting. Karl and myself will both be, as will many be, I think, in this group. Will be in Orlando, so we've made the commitment to be there. So we are certainly looking forward to sitting down around the round table with you, my friend, again. So thank you
forward to seeing you there.
So much, David, for joining us, and you're welcome to leave the call if you wish. We're gonna get into the Canadian market stuff here a bit, the contest. If you want to stick around, that's great. We'd love to have you. But Hannah, also my fiance, on the call there, all the way from the Philippines. I went to Canada, she went to the Philippines, and hopefully she'll be back in Mexico. And I've got my mom, Redekop, on the call here as well. Always blessed to have her on. And Uncle G, many of you know, he's on the call here as well. And it's just great to have family with you in the business. Even though I will say, family is sometimes the hardest person to attract to your business, and any experienced person will tell you that about the industry. So I always say, don't start with family, go elsewhere and build a business. Once family sees that it has been successful for you and that it's working for you, they will come asking questions. And that's exactly my mom's story. I got to share this real quick because it's kind of a cool story. She had neck problems, really bad neck problems, and one eardrum damaged. And she saw these patches, and I kept telling her about them, but she referred to them as stickers. It was so hilarious in the beginning. She said, what do these stickers possibly do? Well, let's try it. Let's put some on your neck where the bad area is, or your leg, wherever. Let's try them. And she had them on for a while, and she started getting results. And all of a sudden in our WhatsApp family chat, she's like, this is making a difference. This is making the pain go away. This is amazing what's happening here. So it was her telling the family that it was working for her. It was not me saying, hey, mom's doing a lot better now. She's experiencing some of the results. And she ran out of Eon the other day, and I had to bring her a few more just to tie us over till this glorious day of August 7th, where the patches are going to be back in Canada again. We're all excited about that. And we're going to share a little bit of information here about a contest that's coming up August 7th. And but before we introduce the contest that's coming August 7th from Lifewave, Many of you may have received the email already. Some of you may not have. We're going to turn this over to Kai Jacobson, my sponsor, and he's going to roll out a little fun contest here. It's going to be 7 days, this contest, and we're just going to make it a fun little thing that anybody can participate in. So Kai Jacobson, my friend, over to you.
Well, thanks, Pete. There is a really big contest coming from Lifewave. We've already seen it. That starts on August 7th, and Pete will explain in a minute. That's the main meal. It's the most generous contest I think I've ever seen. It pays 2 people instead of just 1, and it's very, very exciting. So it's going to be really a fun launch when the products come back to Canada. And we thought we'd just do a little hors d'oeuvre. It's because right now we can't order products in Canada. So you're thinking, what can we do? We can't put a lot into it because, you know, people can just they can't order product right now. They can only join up as a membership. So Pete's been doing this for a while just to prime the pump. And he's been having people join just for the $25 membership fee. And then with the intention of getting their products and ordering it when August 7th comes around, which, by the way, there's going to be incredible incentive, you know, why you're going to be very excited about being able to do that on the 7th for people you refer as well as yourself. So our little hors d'oeuvre contest is going to be very simple. It's kind of small because it's just for the starting membership thing. We're going to run a contest where I'm going to pay 3 people. There'll be 3 people, will be 3 winners, potentially, not necessarily, but hopefully. And so they're going to get an equal amount. It's not going to be the big one gets the most and all that stuff. It's just going to be fair and equitable. It's going to be $100 each, so it's a $300 contest. And it's for the 3 top people who get the most, you know, kind of getting people just hooked in with the startership, you know, bringing people in right now for this week in preparation to get their orders in on the 7th. But the one thing is that you will have to have at least 4. These are $25 memberships. There's no commissions or anything. It's just to prime the pump, kind of. And Pete can explain, he's been doing that. And so Pete, you might explain that a little bit, but there'll be $100 for the 3 top winners, but to win, you have to have at least 4 of these during this next week.
Thank you so much, Kai, for that.
Sure.
And it's like Kai said, it's a little contest, a little hors d'oeuvre, prime the pump. August 7th is a big day for us. So it's going to be very simple. And I've been doing this already over the course of the last 2 months. It's bringing people in strictly as starter. Because here in Canada, it became very complicated with your package, and you could only put Lifewave in there and Alavita Trio. So I would say, you know what? Let's just join you for $25 starter. That's it. Take the path of least resistance. It's powerful that way. Okay, then they have no more excuses or whatever. You know, people often, they will give you objections. They may not join. The $25 starter gets you in the binary, gets you positioned where your sponsor wants you on the right or the left. And once you've done that, Rosita, can you please mute your microphone? There's a lot of background noise there, please. Thank you. You have to go to mute. Okay, now back to the contest here itself. It's really simple. You do this with 8 people, and you share with them what you do. I really mute her, Rosita. A lot of noise there.
I'm not sure how to. I might have to control it. Is there a way that I can mute him?
I think you as an admin mute her, or
who is it? Who do you think it is?
I have no idea how you mute her, but
which person? Which person?
Rosita. I think she's making a lot of noise.
Maybe she's not aware. Just mute him, her, Kai.
You
I
can
think
mute
she's
her.
not aware.
On the blue arrow, Kai, on the top of the box.
I'm just looking for Rosita. I don't see her. Does she have to go by a different name?
No, Rosita Laporte. All right, well, I'll just go on with my story, even though that's very distracting. But when people in at the starter level, it's no resistance, it's $25, and you get $25 back when you register, upgrade, gold, silver, whatever package you are upgrading to, you get that $25 back. The distance allows you to bring these starters in and upgrade them on August 7th. And with the benefits of the contest that we have, upgrading from starter to wherever you go, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, it's a real effective way of priming the pump again and getting some real action in your Lifewave business. So the contest is going to last 7 days. And like Kai said, there's all three are going to be winners. As long as you have a minimum of 4 starters that you've sponsored, and applies to everyone in the success team. So I will not be partaking in it. So it's down from Karl and Clarissa's team and all the way down to the bottom. So that's what I wanted to share. August 7th again is going to be a huge day with the relaunch of the Canadian market, and we're going to have some pretty good news very shortly as well. But I will turn it over. There's a lot of background noise here right now. So, Kai, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, but Karl, why don't you come on and share a little bit as well in closing here and put some fuel to the fire. You're always good at that.
Well, it's truly an exciting time. And as much as we've had to endure for almost a year now, and it's probably a year and a bit, we are on the other side. And while the Canadian government continues to do its thing, we are have cleared that gauntlet, as I call it, and it's going to be some incredible sailing and some incredible opportunities, because it's not just the product we have, it's the business opportunity to invite people to a company that has weathered a tremendous storm, if you will, and come out on the other side shining. I was so glad that David talked about a previous experience in the early going of Lifewave, where David Schmidt stepped up and did the right thing there too. He did what most guys wouldn't do. He did it again in what we've just come through by supporting us with payments. Folks, question why Lifewave, why now? Because there's nothing better out there that you could possibly go to. And I just want to encourage all of you to take up the challenge, the small little appetizer that Kai has graciously done. He's a generous man. And, let's go into that August 7th and let's get ready to do this, guys, because the world has yet to see what Lifewave can do. It's still, I was speaking with Robin today, one of the best kept secrets in the world. And we are at the right place at the right time.
Well, thank you so much, Karl, for those words. And we've had a great little gathering here today, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen on August 7th. I believe it's going to be very, very explosive here. And just so you guys know, those from Canada, we've been working diligently with a Winnipeg road stop. It's not confirmed yet, but most likely it's looking like it will happen. Let's say 90% we'll have a Winnipeg road stop, and we're all going to be looking forward to that. So with that said, I'm going to end the call on that note. Unless you have anything you want to add here, we'll stop the recording and we'll have open for Q&A. Anybody has questions, just wants to stay live with us, but we'll end the recording on that note. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this August 1st, and let's break some records here in August. Thank you.